Hey guys. Oh, I swear every time I go live, even though I'm in control of like hitting the button, it feels like it's a surprise.
Surprise! Here we are.
Hey Lori, how are you? Oh my goodness. So, hi Deb. We're not
Hi.
even gonna pretend like we haven't been talking for 45 minutes. And this happened with the last time I was on with Becky. We were cracking up because we'd been catching up for a minute, and then it's like, hi again.
Hi.
Oh, it's warm in Michigan, and I've been calling it hot, but it's not as hot as it is where Deb is at. Goodness gracious.
Yeah, it's just the Arizona weather is the summers are brutal. So we've already been in, triple digits and yeah, so it's hot. I got my fan going in here. Got some water and a couple beverages here to get me through. So
I love it. A couple of beverages. So I am in no way sponsored by this, but I was telling Deb that I have this little, the light's going to be weird. There we go. So I got it at Trader Joe's, but it's a little mini pre-mixed Aperol spritz. And for anyone that enjoys that kind of thing, it's not bad if you don't want to have to. I think what's nice about it is that, if you are just having one by yourself, if you open a whole bottle of Prosecco, then you're kind of wasting beverages. So
or
if you guys
you drink too much.
or you drink a whole bottle of Prosecco by yourself. Yeah. Those are the two options.
Oops.
This is why we're friends. You guys are getting the spicy late night version of the beating party tonight. Hi, Kelly. Hi, Jeanette. I saw somebody else's name pop up and now I'm missing it. It's good to see you guys. If you guys hear the like rumbling in the background, if my dogs weren't so petrified, it would actually be a very lovely like noise. I love the sound of storms if they're not destructive. And now we're just getting like some rolling thunder. But yeah, we've got some weather moving through. So we have a thunderstorm watch that's done at 10 o'clock, and I think we've already seen the worst of it. So hopefully it doesn't interrupt what we're doing. But if all of a sudden I'm gone and Deb is just like beating with you guys, like just be nice to her, okay?
I've done that. That happened to me. I was live with somebody once, and they had told me they were having weather ahead of time, and I literally finished the project, showed everybody, like tried to give them as much information as I could, and I'm like, okay, I gotta go, bye.
Bye. And then the broadcast is just going without anybody. Oh my goodness, that's so funny.
So hopefully we won't have that, but if that happens, we'll carry on.
Yeah, I think the threat of that is behind us now, but there's the beads. Well, some of the beads. So I know, you guys, I had so much fun putting this collection together. I know I probably say that often, but this one really was I don't know. There was something very inspired about it for me. And it was really easy when I realized that I wanted to use these luster mixes for our companion bundles, because that really kind of dictated the tones and the colors of all the seed beads. And then what really made me happy was, I don't know if you guys watched any of the live sale that we did back. Gosh, it's only been a couple weeks ago now, but we were with the Bead Shopping Network, and I was fessing up to the fact that a bunch of the beads that I was featuring during that video were from when we moved out of our old space, which was like last March. And they got packed up and they got put somewhere that really wasn't that secret. It was just more of one of those things that I just didn't realize that's where they were at, or I didn't remember putting them there, because it's very possible that I just was the one that put them there. And yeah, there they sat. So the fire polish were really easy because I had this whole set of this like matte luster finish fire polish that were already together in one place. And yes, Lori, you did get to shop. Oh, you got your tin. Yay. We'll highlight that. Yeah, so we had these little tin mixes, but we had all these luster finish beads in the live sale. And then we also had the I'm like, what was it? Oh, so the little tins were like little special mixes of seed beads, and I had a whole strand, like 16 inches of not fire polish, of Chinese crystal rondelles, and then some 2-hole beads and things. So we've been having lots of fun.
Very fun. Very, very. The colors are spectacular. And I think these are good colors for all seasons, in my opinion. Like,
oh yeah, it feels like it could have easily been October when I released this combination, and it would have been like just as appropriate. I totally agree with you, Deb.
Yeah, and if you were to insert like a different color into the mix, so pull in like these seed beads, like that could drop in and change the whole vibe of, these guys. So these big beads. So
yeah.
these maybe might have a little bit of a fall vibe, but when you bring in like a turquoise color or this kind of yellowy color, I mean, it just kind of changes the whole tone of it. But when they're all together, they all look beautiful together.
Well, thank you. I feel like my screen is very small, but maybe it's just 'cause I'm trying to show all the beads all at the same time. But like, you guys are in the process of like the subscribers have their beads in the mail, or they're going to be getting their shipping notification within the next like 12 hours or so. And it's all on the way to you. So if you added a companion bundle, you'll be getting those at the same time, or maybe you already got them. Because I had some subscribers who were like, I don't want to wait. I'm going to get my companion bundles ahead of the subscription. So
I can see why. I can see why.
Kelly, please send me an email. I see you have questions about the subscriptions, and I'm going to there's my email address. We'll get it all sorted out. And if you are not a subscriber, these beads all get listed almost always. Every bead from the subscription bundles get listed after they've been shipped to the subscribers, and you can buy them individually. So it's not as good of a deal as when you're subscribing and all that, but they're still available to people. So don't be too sad. And I'm going to drop my email address in the comments too, so that it's there for whoever needs to contact me. Yeah, Kelly, I don't think it's a website issue because the subscriptions are only available to purchase like for a week or less at a time every 3 months. So it's just a timing issue. We'll get it sorted out. But I've got another link for you guys. Aw, Lori's ready to sign up for the next 3 months. Yeah. So this is sorry, Deb, I'm like taking over the
No, this is why we're here.
But I'm dropping a Linktree link. This is for all of the places that you can find Deb and enjoy all of her content. And she has beautiful things for sale on her Etsy store almost weekly. I'm like, I need to go buy that. And then it's already gone. So just totally fine. I'm so happy that that's the case. But as far as the subscriptions go, for those who are currently subscribing, you guys will get an email in the next week or less talking about the registration opening for the third quarter, which would be July, August, and September of this year. And then after that, everyone else will get notice sometime over the last few days of the month. The registration will open up for just the general public, anyone who's not already subscribing. So Kelly, if you're not already a subscriber, it's going to be like those last few days of June when the subscriptions are going to open, but I will happily chat with you one-on-one to make sure you don't miss out. Because the last thing, and I am very serious when I say this, the last thing I want is for something to be something that someone is wanting to purchase and for that to not be available to them. So we'll get you taken care of. But Deb, let me stop talking. what do you have for us today?
Well, I have a lot of the goodies that you're showing, and then I also have this butterfly.
Ta-da!
And I've probably said this before I don't know if it was in a live with you, but butterflies are special to me. I feel like it's my mom visiting me from above. So when I saw this butterfly, I had a moment. And I said, well, I'm going to make something with this and all of the other fun things. So I have everything in front of me. I think I know how it's all going to come together, but we'll kind of work through it. If you want, I can flip my camera down while you show the rest of the goodies there for a minute.
Yeah, let me do the thing that I never do correctly. I swear I didn't even hit the button that it just showed up as, and I definitely don't want my face to be the biggest thing on the screen. Okay. So I'm going to just make my lights a little bit brighter, which doesn't look anything but crazy on my face. But when we've got all the beads out, oh, there's more of the thunder. So here are all of your goodies that you guys are going to be getting. And I did talk about it being an unboxing, so I'll try to show off. These are the 3 brand new colors, things that no one has seen before in their subscriptions, at least. And we've got the triangles, we've got the tiles, and we've got the bar beads, I believe is the name of this size. So the whole distance on all these beads are all the same, but the the sizes vary widely. So it's really nice to have all the different options of shapes and sizes and still have that consistency with the holes, because you can really utilize them in a lot of things together still nicely. Oh, thank you, Kelly. I do think they're stunning too. So the whole idea behind this collection is a vintage rainbow. So we've got, I call this color candy apple. It's got a little bit of green on it, but it's got a lot of metallic red. And my screen might just not be bright enough, but it's really a beautiful, vibrant, metallic finish in real life. And it's just on one side of the bead, so it has a lot of reflective qualities. And then there's that tile, which, gosh, speaking of things, this is more embarrassing than the beads that I forgot to unpack after our move. This tile bead used to be listed on my Etsy store. And it's from the first trip we took to the Czech Republic back in 2019. And I have really gotten rid of very little of it because I had plenty for the subscriptions and then some. So you guys are getting this beautiful special bead that has just not even been out for consumption really anywhere, at least with us. But the silky beads are the same square shape as the tiles, but they the holes run diagonally, so you'll get that beautiful diamond sort of pattern. And this bead is doing the job of every color in the collection. So it's kind of got that luster matte metallic sort of finish, and it's a beautifully multicolored combination. And then the triangles, I don't think the color is coming across well on camera, but it has this Persian turquoise color with a gold shimmer over the top. So they are very softly metallic. They're not shiny though, and they have just this beautiful glow about them. I'm just so in love with this whole set.
They're beautiful. The colors, the Persian color is really beautiful.
I know. Oh, and then this size 6 seed bead is from a previous collection. We had the 11s. So we have the matching size 11 of this color. But these beads, I don't know what it is about the lining has the way that it's made is almost rounding the bead off. So it doesn't even hardly look like a regular seed bead. It looks a little bit more rounded than that. But I think it's just the lining and the finish of the bead. And then as Deb pointed out, there's this beautiful turquoise. It's this matte sort of real frosty kind of finish. It goes really nicely with that triangle. And then the other 15 is this like apricot color that I always love. It has a like kind of goldy greeny sort of luster over the top. And then there is, this is one of the size 8s. This is the other one. We've got a frosty sort of antique topaz sort of AB finish. And then this beautiful variegated, there's a lot of purple in this color, but it's got a ton of like rainbow effect over the top. That bead is kind of the perfect partner for that silky there. So those are the size 8s. The other size 6 is a custom mix with this like tealy and lavender and rainbow sort of finish. And Deb, I apologize. You might not have gotten this one.
Yes, I do have that one.
Oh, good. I hadn't quite decided what I was going to do about the second size 6 color within the last like week or two. And so I couldn't remember if I had already figured it out before I sent it to you.
It's beautiful. I mean, they all are.
Thank you. And then your collection is rounded out by these 2 11s with a antique sort of rose color and this like I think it's a white lined, a very simple bead, but it has a really beautiful kind of, there's a fall sort of flower that grows wild here.
What is that called?
Goldenrod. I was like, it's a weed, I think, technically, but yeah, it's like a very goldenrod sort of color. So, oh, Lori, I'm so glad you're enjoying them. Thank you, Kelly. The triangles are stunning. I agree. It's a really beautiful. That is not a cheap bead. I also feel like you guys really luck out with the subscriptions because my love for like good color combinations always outweighs my sense of like I should be sticking within a certain price range because of what I charge for the subscription. So you guys always are the winners there when it comes to my weakness for making beautiful combinations of things. But Deb, tell us about what's on your tray here.
Well, first of all, I wanted to show you this because I didn't show you while we were chit-chatting earlier, but this is with those little 15s and these beads that these are magic.
Like size 6. Yes.
Oh my gosh. So look at the combination of I just did a simple little stacking bracelet and the 15s just like they go so nicely with those with that color. And I don't know what you call that like cranberry color. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I don't have a better name for it. Cranberry is a great color, or a great name. I think that what makes them so magical is the lining is some sort of a metallic or what they sometimes call a gilt, G-I-L-T lining, and they just like glow from within.
Yeah, they are. These were the first things I touched. And so while I was getting set up today, I was like, oh, I'm going to make a bracelet. And so I did just a little simple. I mean, this could not be more simple, but it's just so pretty.
I love it. And I would totally make something like that. So I could stack it with a more complicated bracelet or bigger beads in another bracelet. It's perfect. And totally different than the colors you're using in your necklace, it looks like.
Yeah. So I'm going for kind of a mixed metal vibe. And I've got all these big chonkers. So these guys, this fun shape, and then this lentil shape. And so I've got all of those. Those are kind of the main beads, and then I've got a couple of the fire polish here. So this color is making my heart flutter. And then this one with it is so fantastic. So I've got those, and then I'm using these 15s and the kind of frosted, what are these, 8s?
Yes, those are a size 8 if they're the matte finish.
Yeah. So then I've got the butterfly, and then you had these in my package, which are super cool in
Yes.
a couple different metals. So like the metal portion of this is going to be a little mixed, and with all this beautiful color, I think all this beautiful color goes back to any of the metals. So just gonna do like this is a very check glass statement butterfly necklace. Just really,
So
really
fun.
fun.
Well, honestly, Deb, those hammered rings, I have a good amount of them, and there was some packages of them just sitting in front of me when I was packing your box, and I was like, you know who could use these? Deb Floros. Because I also constantly forget to send you findings to like go along with your beads. So I thought, the coppers and the bronzes will look really pretty with these beads. The butterfly is going to look fantastic too. But I just felt like maybe you can make use of these at some point. So for anyone who's watching, the butterfly and the hammered rings are not part of the subscriptions, but I have dropped both of those links in the comments for you guys. So if people are thinking, oh, I didn't know that those existed, or oh, those would look really good with my beads, now you know where to find them.
Yeah, you know now. You know. Just to catch everybody up on what I did here. So I started. Let me grab a bead stopper because I have spilled so many beads.
I was waiting for like the beads to slide a little more than we wanted them to.
So many beads on the floor this week. So I started with just an alternating pattern of the fire polish, the 15s, and the 8s. And just to get like a little bit of that beautiful color it'll be in the back of the necklace, but still so lovely. And then I started pulling in the larger beads. So
I love the way you're using the 15s between the larger beads, Deb. I mean, even like between the seed beads and the fire polish, it's my favorite way to create a faux like ball chain look, or just to create the interest of like the shape and the size of the width of the necklace changing like that.
It's kind of one of my secret weapons. I mean, it's not a secret, but it's one of the because I've just told you, but I mean, I know I'm not the only one that does this, but it adds a dimension that you can't get otherwise. Like even if you were to knot this, your knot would be bigger than this little 15. So
exactly.
I think it elevates it. And I know a lot of people that, do stringing designs don't really care for, they don't really care for 15s. I mean, they're tiny.
They are tiny. They're a bit of a pain to string. My secret weapon is I will use the fine. So I use a lot of soft flex, but it would apply to any stringing material brand that you're using. The fine width, so 0.014, I think diameter roughly, is really easy to use with the 15s, and it's still heavy enough to use with like most of the beads that Deb's using, especially if it's not something that like a baby is going to be pulling on your neck or whatever.
Right. Yeah, I have been able to fit 15s onto 49 strand wire. So
oh yeah, for sure.
So it's it's just the kind of thing I think just elevates a design if you want to go there, because it's a little much. So
well, and I don't know if you ever do this, Deb, but the other thing that I found, because I work with seed beads so much, is I will cut my beading wire at the end on like a diagonal. So if like this is the wire straight up and down, I'm cutting like this, and then that creates like a bit of a point. It's a little easier to get through some of the smaller seed beads.
Yes. Yeah, I think when you are trying to use a lot of small beads, that sometimes you need a little bit of help. You just do.
Now, Kelly is asking if 15s will fit over the medium soft flex. I'm trying to remember if I know I use 11s on a medium, but I don't know. 15s might be kind of hard. I think the fine soft flex would be a little easier.
I can check it before we because I've got some handy, but I
What
think
what diameter is the roll that you've got in front of you? I know it's not soft flex,
I've got a 19 strand bead-alon wire.
but it's 0.015. So
Yeah,
it's more similar to the fine
yeah,
than the
yeah.
medium. Yeah. So Kelly, I think it'd be a little easier to work with the fine when you're or like we said, the 0.014 or 0.015 diameter stringing wire. Oh, Deb, I'm so excited.
So I'm gonna try. So there's a couple ways you can attach this pendant. So you could literally go into the hole, take your wire through, and crimp it on, or you can do a jump ring and then kind of bead across.
I see what
And
you're doing there. I like it.
but I don't think I have the right jump ring. So I'm actually gonna grab an oval jump ring out of my drawer here because that's gonna give me a little bit more real estate for that butterfly to move. We want him to be able to move around.
The flutter, right?
Yes, yes.
Hi,
So
Barbara.
I'm going to take off these round ones that I have on here. And I'm going to hope that this will work okay because I did not test it ahead of time, but I think it should with the ovals.
No, the oval seems like the other thing I like about the ovals is you can kind of turn um the opening in the jump ring doesn't have to sit against what you're
Right.
pulling it against, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
with the opening being on the side of the oval, it gives you a little more security too. It's nice.
Yeah, I really didn't understand the benefits of oval jump rings in the beginning when I started making jewelry. And when I discovered these, there's certainly plenty of opportunities to use these. And I would highly recommend if you're making jewelry a lot that you add this to your repertoire of components and findings and things because it can be very helpful. So I'm going to drop this on. I like to have a small seed bead where that jump ring's going to sit because
Definitely.
it's adding a little dimension and space there. So I think if I'm seeing that right, that I've got just enough wiggle room with this butterfly.
Yeah, it
So
looks good. I mean, like, yeah, I was gonna say from the mat, it looked good. It looks like you've got some swing.
got some swing going on there. So then oh gosh, I'm all tangled up. So I think what I'll do is I'm going to go across with just with the pattern of seed beads to start with. So just like a little big, a little big, a little big. And then I want to try and add a larger bead kind of at the center point here. If it will, you know, if I've got enough clearance with this butterfly. So just easy peasy adding the beads. This is the rhythmic part of designing that makes me breathe a sigh of relief.
I know it's very zen and meditative and good for our brains and our souls.
Yes, yes, yes. All right, so let me see. I don't know if this is gonna I don't know if that's going to give me enough clearance, but I'm going to back off just one large bead there and see if I can fit that one on. And I might have to pull it away from the camera to actually see it for myself, to see if it will work here. Don't think I've got enough clearance, to be honest.
Yeah, it's so hard to tell, and you can't like really let it hang the way it's going to because of the lack of beads on the other side.
Yeah, so I'm fast. So let's just keep going and see if we can make it work.
Sounds
It's like
good.
if
Live dangerously.
if I had a bead that was somewhere like a size in between these large beads and the fire polish beads, it would be perfect.
I didn't send you enough beads, Deb.
But I wonder if that little twisty bead might even be a better choice. But if you will condone me to try this, then I'll keep going here and
While
see.
Deb is stringing, I just dropped the link to everything we're talking about today will or is found under the Curated Collections tab on our website. So our subscriptions are part of the Curated Collections, but there's so much more than that because every time I put like a custom set of things together, a curated set of colors and shapes and whatever, and it's not like a kit for a specific project, it lives in the Curated Collections because that's where I feel like I want to give people a place to go where they can like get a set of beads that is coordinated and already aesthetically beautiful together, but isn't necessarily meant to be something specific, because the whole point is for you guys to be inspired, to be creative with whatever you're like gathering there. So right now, the companion bundles from the subscriptions for June, which are the chonky beads that Deb's working with, and then the fire polish colors. So fire polish are the specific faceted shape like these here. And then the pressed glass are the other set. So those are already available on that part of our website. But the seed beads and the 2-hole beads have not been added yet because they have not all been shipped to the subscribers. Today, tomorrow is when that magic turning point is. So you guys can watch over the course of the next few days. That's when those new seed beads and the new 2-hole beads will get listed there.
Okay, plan C. Bigger jump rings.
Ah. Plan C, bigger jump ring. I love it.
All right. I think this might be our ticket. Now, my rule of thumb with jump rings is I always want to use the smallest jump ring I can use, but have it be functional. So sometimes what I see is folks will use jump rings that are a little bit too big, maybe just because they that's what they've got and they want to finish their piece. But I tend to go with the smallest jump ring that will allow me to do what I want to do. So a bigger jump ring makes me a little bit uncomfortable for this, but I think it's going to give me clearance to do what I want to do here. So in this case, it will be the smallest jump ring that I can use for this this circumstance. So I'm going to see if this will work, and it's going to be about it hanging in the right spot. And so let's hope that we can make that happen here. But that bead, so what I was testing out was that bead and the seed beads were kind of crowding onto the butterfly. So it was just a little bit too far down, because the jump rings were not giving me enough space. So let's see if this can work. let's see. And one of those got away. There we go. And let's try this. So I think it will work. And if it doesn't, then I have one more idea.
Yay! This is so good for people to see the troubleshooting of how to kind of solve a problem of our own creation, right? Like so often I'm like, I am going to make this bead work in this spot no matter what I have to do. And it can be done, but sometimes it takes like 3, 4, 5 tries to make it happen. Yeah. Beaders are stubborn, right?
I feel like making jewelry is all about problem solving. I mean, I really do think that's what we're doing here is we're just problem solving. So it is a series of trial and error. And all right, now that I've got this problem, I think, let's see. So if I hang, it's still hanging downward. So what do we think about the look of that?
I don't mind the overlap. I could tell from like when you started to like pull it up that.
I don't hate it. It's like almost like it's layering, but we're missing some of that detail of the butterfly. So that bothers me. So,
I knew you were going to say that. I was like, no, it's great. What about doing some of the fire polish through the middle there? Or do you think that'll be too small?
I think what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to attach directly to the butterfly. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take out the continuity of the beads across the top of it. And then this butterfly will kind of stand alone on its own there in the center.
What would be really pretty though, then you can make a second necklace to layer with it and just let it like hit close to the top of the butterfly.
Yeah. And I also want to, because this butterfly has holes at the bottom too, I have a little idea for that.
Yay. So. Perfect. So Kelly, I apologize. I don't have an exact date, or it's actually a date range. So you don't have to worry about only having one day to register for the subscriptions. There's usually like 3 to 5 days that you have the opportunity to get registered. So I will be posting about it on our social media. I'll be emailing about it. It's usually a fairly obvious situation, and the listing on our website, and I'm going to drop the link to that, will also say what dates you have for the registration process. Does that help a little bit more? Makes me so happy when people want our fun stuff.
Yes, of course. All right, so I've got one side attached. So here's what we've got. So we've got one side attached.
Yay!
So then what we'll do is we'll grab a bead stopper, and then we're going to come and I'm going to have my piece down here that I already did so I can just see my pattern. And now that I see it, it will go a little bit faster. So you don't have to watch me painstakingly decide which beads to put on because I've already made that decision. Oh my God, is she gonna pick the beads any slower?
Not the case at all. That's so funny though.
And when I'm working with the fire polish up top, one of the things that I did was I kind of switched up the so I'm using these as spacers, the seed beads as spacers. So with the fire polish, I'm using 15s up next to the fire polish bead, and then the 8 is in the middle. But then I switch that when I get to the bigger beads. because the bigger beads have larger holes too. So the 15s would go into them. So you really want to have the bigger beads be your kind of bumping up against your larger beads, if that makes sense to folks.
Yes.
So, and I think I used 3 or 4 of each color. So, and I know some folks might not want to use their fancy fire polish beads in the back of their necklace, but I always like to have fancy beads in the back because I like to put my hair up like today, and you can see those fancy beads and pretty beads in the back. So I like to do that. But
And
you
a
could
lot
do
of the
chain.
time, I mean, there's a lot of necklaces where the back will like twist, and so I don't mind having like a nicer bead along like the clasp area because it might end up showing often anyways.
Yeah. And I think sometimes folks will just maybe do like a series of seed beads in the back too. I will do that on some occasions, just maybe because I don't have enough of a bead that that I'm using. So all right, so now I'm going to switch my seed bead pattern to, I've got a 15 next to my last fire polish and then an 8. And then I can start my pattern of the larger beads. And these beads are all, you've got a few different colors here, but you could be very precise and match them up, or you could just grab whatever color, and you can make it kind of more random if you want to do that.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys can see on the smaller screen, but like those lentils that Deb is working with, although Deb, can you see there's like this little tiny guy in the middle of like all the regular sized ones that I think that's totally an error from the factory. But either way, there's, like 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 lentils, and it's about an 8-inch strand. So there's quite a bit of good volume of beads there. And same thing with those fun twisty beads too.
Yeah, the twisty ones are really, really a neat shape. I love a good shaped bead.
Well, and I felt like when I was pulling stuff for your little bead party package, I thought, of all the people that I work with, you were going to make such good use of the chonkier beads.
I do appreciate chonky. Chonky is good.
Do you make it look good? Like, I think that sometimes the bigger beads, like we used to joke about this years ago, that, like a real big bead is like a Wilma Flintstone bead. But if it's used well, then it looks really beautiful.
Well, and we're adding so much dimension to it too. So it's not like all chunky beads, which,
Yes.
I mean, that was my MO for many years. I was the big bead girl. I had all the Wilma Flintstone necklaces. I mean, that was my thing. I loved that.
You want people to know you're coming, though, if you're like a bead lady. You might.
Yeah.
So we went on I went on 2 bead cruises before my husband joined me on the third one that I attended, and we went together. It might have been in 2022 because my mom and I were on one in 2020, but it was like right before a lot of things started to shut down from the pandemic. So I think it was 2022. Chris and I went onto this bead cruise together and got into like it was probably like the welcome party for all the bead cruisers on Royal Caribbean. And he turns to me and he's like, wow, everybody's really wearing their showpieces. And I just about fell over. I'm sure I'd probably had a like glass of champagne already at that point, or a pina colada or something, festive. And He was just cracking me up. He's like, "Oh, they got their showpieces on," and it's like I've never heard anybody refer to it that way, but it's totally a thing when beaters gather together. They're like, even if I get ready to like go to the store or go on camera, I'm like, "Oh, I got to find something like fun to wear."
Yes, when we go to Tucson, you gotta have some pretty jewelry to walk around in Tucson because that's what it's all about. Showpieces. Gotta wear your showpieces.
You guys, I'm dropping the link for the bead cruise. I'm not teaching or anything on the one in 2026, but my dear friend Becky Haley is the one that organizes it. And it is just the most fun. I think I've been on 4 previously. And it's something I would do every year if it was an option. So you guys have to go check it out for sure.
I saw a lot of pictures from it. And I do think it looks like a blast, like a complete blast.
I mean, really, anytime you like combine a vacation or a trip with beading and like it's like the purpose is something to do with beading, I feel like you can't go wrong. But you're usually in like tropical climates and have all these like beautiful meals and fun drinks and all this like fabulous camaraderie. Like the group, that was something I noticed right off the bat. The first cruise I went on was by myself with my friend Heather, and I didn't know hardly anyone else on the cruise. And there's usually 50 to 100 beaters depending on the year. So I was really nervous. Like I am a pretty like social person, but it still made me like a little bit, anxious to join into this group of people that seemingly all knew each other, and everybody is so welcoming and it's such a friendly and fun environment. So I highly recommend it, you guys. Oh,
Yeah.
everybody's loving your necklace, Deb.
Well, the crimping work on the other side was not my best, so I'm not happy with the other side, but we will carry on nonetheless. So, so we've got this really, I mean, these beads are so beautiful that it's really hard to, be unhappy with a necklace like this. So we're gonna do a couple more things before we wrap this one up. So what I want to do is I want to try and add these guys into the mix. So I love the idea that these beads all have like a little bit of a metallic vibe. So like these, especially these twisty ones, look at this color. They are
They
like
got
metallic.
bronze. Yeah.
So I was thinking maybe trying to do like a couple of these, one there, and then add like a bead down at the bottom, or
How
like
cool.
one bead like that. So I did test this earlier. So I found in my Box O jump rings these big jump rings. Now these are also bigger than I would like to use, but these are pretty substantial.
Yeah, they have a pretty thick like the hammering, it's like a double-sided sort of ring or something, and there's definitely some hoof to it, as I like to say.
Yeah, so the big ones I was using before still aren't quite big enough, but these also are good because they have they're thin enough to go through the butterfly, which was what I was mainly concerned about. Like a lot of bigger jump rings are heavier gauge.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
So these were kind of right. So I'm not sure exactly how this is going to look, but goes right into that bottom hole on the butterfly. And then I'm going to take this guy and drop that on. and get this one tightened up as best I can. So we've got one hammered piece on, and try this next one. And I love that there's a couple different metallic shades here, so kind of this antique brass, and then the antique copper is cool too. So
I'm
we've
such
got,
a fan of mixing metals. I love it so much.
I think it just opens up so much possibility for what you can wear with it, like all the other things you might have in your jewelry box.
Yes.
So those look really big to me, but I think I can get past it because we're gonna
Yeah,
do.
I think you want something similar in size to that, because otherwise those hammered rings wouldn't have the movement like we were talking
Nope.
about with like the top two.
Yeah, they definitely would not. So they can be and I think this will also help it make a little bit of a jingly sound too, which I
Ooh.
enjoy. I enjoy the jingle. Give me jingle.
Yes.
So one more. So we're going to attach that third one to the two above.
That was such a fun idea, Deb. I never would have like orchestrated this whole like extra. It's gonna create such a beautiful focal.
So that is not coming out as like I was thinking. So let's try something else. Not exactly the way I was hoping it would look, but that's all right. We'll try plan B here. And open up that one. So I think what I might do is those are going to hang like that. And if I can get these guys, I think I can attach these and then maybe another ring. I'm going to see if the smaller one will work for this. Let's see if I can cross that over. I don't know if it will work. Let's try. It's
so hard to judge the like what something will go around without just trying it. For me, I definitely have that issue.
So that one does not work, but I have another size over here off to the side. Let's see if I can get one that's not quite as big. Let me see. This one I think might be as big as the ones I'm working with. Let's see. Yeah. Well, I have another idea.
I know. I was sitting here. I'm like, come on, Cassandra. you can help brainstorm.
See,
apparently not.
This is why I am usually better about planning ahead, because I usually do plan more ahead. But I thought in my mind's eye, this would work quite well.
No, I honestly, over and over again, people share that they really enjoy and appreciate seeing the process, because I think, and I mean, people make this comment to me often that when they don't see behind the curtain and they don't see the wizard for what he is, that they assume that we just have this like magical touch and we're like, boom, and something's done, rather than it being like, you have to like do and undo and do and undo to make the thing happen.
Yeah, I am much more of a planner than a design on the fly person. I'm just full transparency. And I know people like to see things more spontaneous. But this is why, because I'm always like, oh gosh, what did I do here? What have I done? It's just, when you're doing this just by yourself, all by lonesome. Like you're talking to yourself, you're coming up with different things. Yeah, that's not going to work either. All
Well,
right.
yeah, I was like, those rings are probably just a little, the hammered rings are probably just a little small to be able to reach the two sides.
Yeah.
Deb, what about if you did I don't know if you're wanting to do this, but like a wire wrap connection,
Yeah.
like jump rings underneath the butterfly on each side, and then a wire wrapped component going from the jump ring to the either hammered ring, or you could connect them to a jump ring on the hammered ring. I don't know if that, so you'd still get some of that like triangular shape and then the hammered ring. And then you could do the big twisted bead off the bottom still.
All right. Pulling out the wire.
And I'm thinking like the fire polish that are up in the strung part of the necklace, like one of those or something smaller for the link, just because I don't think that you'll need anything too substantial for what I'm imagining.
Yeah, I see where I can make this work. So actually that's not a big enough loop there. So I'm going to go down pretty far down on my round nose to create a loop that will go into, because this has enough space.
Yeah, into the butterfly.
So we'll do this and grab these guys, and then I want to have some movement there. So we'll do that. We'll get this trimmed up here. And then I think I'm just going to put beads on this and create a little loop here.
Ah, nice.
So I'm pretty sure I can fit the 15s on this wire. Let's see if I can. Yes. So I'm going to still use, since we used the seed beads as kind of our continuity throughout the rest of the piece, I'm going to just kind of do the same pattern here.
Yeah, and then if somebody was feeling like they still wanted like something hanging from it, you could use a head pin with one of the larger beads and drop it from the like center of your little U shape there at the bottom too.
Right.
But a nice little like swag at the bottom of a piece that has two holes looks really great too.
I think I might take this one and do that on head pin.
Yay. I'm like, don't give up on the twisty bead, Deb.
I don't want to give up on it. I don't. All right, so then let me grab I know I have my head pin box here on the floor. This is like no man's land down here.
Deb, I love where this is going. I think it's going to look so good.
It's not what I had in mind, but I'm embracing it. I'm embracing it. So I'm going to use yet another metal color here with a ball end.
Perfect.
And I'm going to just create a little loop, and we'll string that right on to our wire.
This is all going to tie in so nicely with what you did with the stringing.
Just a little, I like the term you use, a little swag on the bottom there. So that will go on. And let's see. So I think I might put another one of these, and then this guy, and then string that on like that, and then get that oriented right. So that will hang. And then another one of these.
And I'm going to preemptively tell our followers that if you are a little newer to wire wrapping or you're not quite as comfortable as some of us that do it more often, a cheat for this would be to create the swag separately from the butterfly and then use 2 small jump rings that would fit through your butterfly to hang the swag off of it. Because what Deb is about to do is a little bit of more of a mid-advanced sort of technique. I feel it's a little harder to like wrap the wire right onto the butterfly. It's a great look, but if you're not comfortable with it or you like try it and don't succeed, the cheat would be just to make it off the butterfly and then just get a couple of jump rings on there.
Yeah, I do a lot of wrapping directly onto things because I am comfortable with that. But I always tell people that's like an alternative for you if you don't want to get all caught up in getting it onto the loop that you're working with or the piece that you're working with. It's jump rings are easy.
Yeah. Oh, it's so pretty. I love it.
All right, so this is going to be tricky. So I got all this stuff. So it's probably going to be best that I move most of it out of the way.
It's like clear
the decks here, and I've got all these crimps spilled out here. So let me get those out of the way because I don't want to lose those. Get all these reject jump rings out of the way.
Reject jump ring.
All right, so I think I've got proper space now to do this. So the way I try to do this is I will create the start of the loop again. So I want to get this piece up through that. Actually, I need a bigger loop. I want to get that right up into that hole. So I want to give myself plenty of space to do that. So I'm going to push this wire down and get in there. And that
she makes it look easy, you guys, but this is like the point where I always get frustrated. That's why I was making sure.
And this wire is it's thin gauge. It's thin enough of a gauge that you can really kind of do this with your fingers. So I'm just creating my wraps with my finger, getting in there around that wire, and then trimming off. And then what I want to do is kind of straighten this out a little bit. So it can get a little bit wonky. So you want to get that straightened out so that it will give you some good movement. And then you can manipulate this to be a little more rounded at the bottom here. So the wire isn't so work hardened that it won't
break immediately. Yeah. Deb, I know it's not what you were planning originally, but it really is stunning. I absolutely love it.
So this is how we're looking here. So we've got a nice big open kind of space for this butterfly. The way I had it in the beginning, it was just way too crowded for that butterfly.
Yeah.
So
you can spread her wings now.
Yeah. I do think I will finish this off camera, and what I want to do is fix my crimp on one side. It's a little wonky, and I think I will shorten the number of seed beads here. I have a little bit I think I've like too many right there. But the rest of this I love. So the chunkiness of the check glass, the fire polish up top that's going to show off if you put your hair in a ponytail. And then I do like this little dangle. It's something
it elegantly kind of brings the butterfly to a point where, like those holes add this kind of like design challenge of like, how am I going to utilize this and make it look right?
Yeah. And another thing I actually thought of that I almost thought about showing is if you wanted to tone down the silver a little bit, you could do just a very light sanding and use some patina paints or some of those ultimate vintage paints. Just give yourself like a light wash of maybe a goldenrod or some other metallic, and it would still be silver, but you wipe off enough that the silver would show through, but you'd also get some other color to it as well.
Yeah, I think that would be beautiful either direction. I know Sheila's used a bunch of those butterflies with the patina paints, and it looks lovely. But I think the contrast of the silver is pretty too if people don't care to do that or they don't have the materials on hand. But oh, thank you so much for sharing that beautiful project with us, Deb.
I'm gonna flip.
Okay, you're gonna flip. I'll flip us back around too. Big faces again.
Almost there. There we are. Ooh, it is steamy. It's steamy in this room.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to let you go so you can go cool off somewhere. My office is the coldest place in our house during the winter, so oh yes, it's beautiful.
I love the colors, and I do love the mixed metal vibe. The silver doesn't bother me at all.
No.
I love that it is that big, bright, shiny piece in the focal. So I will post the finished piece once I fix my crimp problem on one side. and I'm going to take off a couple beads at the bottom there, but I'll post a picture in the Beads in Progress group.
Yes, you're so good at those segues. I of course don't think I have my little thing up, but for everyone who is wondering what Beads in Progress is, that is one of our Facebook groups. And if you search Beads in Progress and you find that group by Beads to Live By, that's all you're looking for. And the only purpose of the group is to share projects that you have seen our influencers do and have emulated. Projects that use our beads that you've ordered, projects from patterns that we've sold or from classes we've taught. Basically, the only thing we ask is that the stuff being shared in the group just somehow ties back to Beads to Live By in any possible way. It's there for our community to share what they're working on and see when things get finished, if they've been worked on partway through a video, or I was actually born during pandemic times because I had a lot of people commenting on how, they missed the camaraderie of bead classes and being able to like see the other colors of people's projects they were working on. And so it's just a fun place to be able to share what you're doing. Everybody's raving about your necklace, Deb. We love it.
Well, it was a trial and error, but I do like how it came out. So
I am dropping the link one more time, guys. Follow, like, subscribe, stalk. Not really. Everywhere that Deb is at. And if you're enjoying yourselves, we're on Instagram, Pinterest, Facebook, and have email newsletters. And that is where you will see the most concise weekly update about what we're doing, including the subscription releases. So Kelly, if you're not an email subscriber, make sure and go sign up for that. Oh, Kelly is looking for a link for the Facebook group. Maybe just shoot that in your email to me about the subscriptions, and that way, because it would take me a second to go grab that link. I don't have it easily accessible anywhere right now, and we need to let Deb go. So, but we'll see you guys soon. Again, that's just Beads in Progress, and you're looking for a group on Facebook. So I will see you all again soon. Thank you, Deb.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for everything. So much fun.
Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.